What's up, everyone? This is Christian Duke. You're watching Strengthaddicts live here on Instagram, brought to you courtesy of BlackstoneLabs.com, the holy grail of bodybuilding supplements. As always, my friends, if you're interested in getting involved in the fitness industry, there is no better way to do so than by applying to join the Blackstone Labs Legion. Also, big thank you to our supporting sponsor, TitanMedicalCenter.com, for all your TRT, medical weight loss, glutathione, ECA stacks, and so much more. Also, check out Team Titan, Titan Strong. So today I'm really happy, guys, because I have somebody that has been described as a leading executive in Blackstone Labs by none other than Lord Braun himself, PJ Braun, which I think is absolutely huge. So in this Instagram Live, it's going to be a little bit different than the normal Instagram Live because I'm going to ask Derek what it's like to work at Blackstone, what it's like to just, reach for the stars, get noticed by all the bigwigs, by PJ, by David, by everybody, and also his goals for the future. Because Jared Brown, call center manager, who I collaborate with very much on these lives, always says, ask about the goals, because the goals are really important. They really kind of tell the story about the person that you're interviewing. So I'm going to bring Derek on, and I'm going to really try not to talk too much because I have a tendency to talk a lot, and that is not the button. Wait a minute here. Let's see here. Let me see what we're doing here. I'm going to see. Please. I'm scared I'm going to mess this up. I'm terrified. Hold on. Let's see. Do I go here? No. Do I go there? Oh, look at that. He sent a request. Need to panic. So Derek's coming on. What's up?
What's up? How are you?
Good. I'm good. I had a little panic moment there for a second. I was like, what the hell did I do? What did I press? So what's up?
What's up?
So you're in the middle of your work shift, right? Because I think you said you work till what time?
2 to 10.
2 to 10. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I have so much to ask you, and I want to try to stick to 15, 20. I don't want to be a clock watcher, but I'll just talk and talk. So
You're good.
cool. So I think I'm pretty sure that you were at the Braun Army meetup, but I really met you formally at the Olympia with Chris Luke, and or maybe I met you before. When did I actually meet you?
I met you at the Braun Army workout. I was actually just a Legion member then.
Cool. And see, that's what I love, Derek, because you're like Flex Diesel. Everybody starts out at the Legion and they just move up. And I think, the people that don't want to do it that way just maybe are allergic to hard work. What do you think?
People don't want to put the work in. You got to put the work in. So I joined the Legion, and then I was an iron worker in Manhattan for 6 years and noticed I wasn't happy with my job. So I came down here for the Braun Army workout. I was friends with my call center rep, which was Christopher Luke. So I ended up contacting him, asking him to work out before the Braun Army workout. He brought me into the office, hung out with the guys for 2 days, and I noticed this is a place that I would want to work. It's like a family here. So I reached out to Billy, asked him about possibly applying for the job. I did my interview, and then went from there.
And it's interesting too, because I think Chris Luke also left a pretty good paying job, and not that he's not, making good money now, but I think if you don't enjoy what you do, it's almost like, what's the point? You know what I mean? You only have one life. You want to make sure that you live it to the fullest, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. So Billy really asked me in the beginning, when I did my interview, he's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure." He's like, "I know you're taking a serious pay cut." I'm like, "There's a difference between being happy with what you do and then making money." So
Definitely. But, again, Blackstone Labs is such a cutting edge company. And again, that's not just us saying it. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, the numbers don't lie.
Oh yeah.
The growth of this company doesn't lie. And especially in the short amount of time, I mean, this thing just exploded. At the same time, you do what you love, and it's not all about the money, but you're also undeniably very successful when it comes to figures, when it comes to meeting sales goals and tell us a little bit about what's it like working in that building. I mean, because it just seems like it's just all alpha males and females, and there are such a thing as alpha females, which I think that's so silly that people think alphas are only males. You have alpha males and beta males, alpha females and beta females. But what's it like working there?
So no, it's crazy. It's a job, definitely is a job, but you get to work with your friends, get to work with people you go to the gym with. You work towards your goals together. So I come in every day. So we have a chat that we talk to people on the website. We reach out to customers. We have our clientele that we have. We talk to them about what they're looking to do next, what their goals are. We try to help them reach them as fast as possible. And then, yeah, that's about it. It's just talking to everyone, getting to know people. Building a relationship with your customer is the main point. Getting them to trust you and actually like listen to your recommendations. Because a lot of people like to buy a bunch of supplements and everything, but they don't like to put the work in. So I like to get to know all my customers, let them know. I also give them tips on diets, training, as much as I can.
Definitely, definitely. And, I was talking to Jared on the phone yesterday, and one of the things that Jared said is that, when Blackstone Labs customers, if they have a question, a concern, whatnot, it's such a breath of fresh air, especially in this age where everything, like you go on most websites and you're talking to a robot. You're not talking to a human being. So the fact you can call, and not just call and talk to a person, a human being, but talk to a person that is as educated in the product line as you guys are, is second to none. I mean, I don't know too many companies that do that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it's funny that you said that because when people come in the chat, and we usually have like an intro. We tell them our name, let them know that we can help them, answer any questions they have, recommend products towards their goals, as well as help them with discounts. And a lot of people are like, "Are you a real person?"
No, for sure. They want that. They really, really want that. And it's like, that's kind of like lost upon the industry. I mean, there's companies as big as Blackstone, maybe even a little bit bigger, that have been around, for like 10 or 20 years more, and they don't have that. And, at best they have like an online form, but it's like, that's not even a real person. So when it comes to the Legion though, I mean, the Legion is also a very special thing in the sense that most companies don't have like that family vibe. I mean, like even what Art was just saying earlier, I'm horrible about reading his comments. So I mean, if you see any
So am I.
comments that you
So
left,
am I.
I'm absolutely terrible. But it's the Legion is such a unique concept. I mean, because a lot of companies have what they call an ambassador. They get a code, and you're on your own. You know what I mean? Do what you do, and a lot of times those codes, they might get used. Up the wazoo. Or I don't know how to say, but they never see any return on it. There's no real accounting. You know, like there is a Blackstone. So there's no support. There's no accounting. Half the time you don't know what you're part of. So
And you don't have like how Blackstone does. Like the Legion posts people all the time. They repost them. Like all those other companies that do the ambassador programs, like they just post their products, and that's about it. They don't
right.
repost everyone's workouts, their stacks that they like to take pre-workout, their post-workout stacks. Like we post everything. Like and
Yeah,
then we try to get everyone out there so people start following them. So we like all the Legion. We like them to communicate
definitely. I
because
mean,
like exactly what PJ wants it to be. He wants it to be a family for people. So us reposting more people is having people communicate more, and it builds it a lot. As you see, it's blown up.
for sure, for sure. And I talk to PJ like every day. Every day I'm texting him, and we do the voice texts, and you know, um, he like thinks the world of you, man. And like he's like super impressed with you.
That
Like
means a
he's
lot.
just like floored by you, really. And honestly, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I just turned 27 last month.
That's insane, man. You're 27, and like the president and CEO of a company this size, like with roots, this deep, is like thoroughly floored by you, impressed by. It's really, really huge. And age really is just a number, but at the same time, 27 is pretty young. You got 27. I mean, people are barely graduated from college. They don't know what the hell they want to do, and here you are. I mean, like you're basically on top of the world. Like I said, for PJ to notice you like that, that's a pretty big deal, I think.
It was a big deal, and it means a lot that he has that to say. A lot. Like age isn't a number. You got people like that are just getting out of college, still live at home. They're still stuck in their hometown. Like I can't. Like people think I'm crazy because I picked up my life in the middle of a pandemic and moved to another state for a job. Like I can say I've had two careers, and I made the switch because I wasn't happy, and I can't say that I'm happy. I can't be happier than I am now.
That's so cool. And then there's a couple of folks I'm going to interview next week that it sounds like two people put together the Blackstone Labs Legion gym, like just out
Yes,
of thin air, which is like insane. Like I don't know if they have clones or what
they.
how they did that, but
Yeah, I first met Vanessa and Larry because Larry's actually Sammy's client.
okay.
So Sammy was his coach. I met Larry 2 weeks out from his first show. We did a workout at Busy Buddies, and I met him there. So to find out that those were the people coming to build the gym, and I didn't even know until like the day that they were coming. And Larry's actually my customer as well. So like to know that, that's like, it was awesome. So I actually went there the whole weekend and helped them and hung out with them. We went out to dinner and everything. So being able to watch them put the gym together, like there were hours I was not there. Like they started Friday, I came mid Saturday afternoon, helped them for a little bit, but they did a lot in such little
Absolutely.
time. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And shout out to Sammy and Kiara. I mean, class acts, they promote Blackstone and, it's just, I mean, again, there's a way to like move from one company to the next, and there's a way not to do it. And I'm sure, the history of some of the folks that have, left Blackstone
Yeah.
in a really bad way. And, it is what it is, but, shout out to them. And let's talk more about you though. So you're also a competitor, which is mind boggling to me that you're able to, do, because you don't have a 9 to 5, you have a 2 to 10. It's still the same hours,
I
but
had
you're
a I had a choice.
okay.
So we have a day shift, it's 8 to 4, or we have a night shift, which is 2 to 10. So when I first started, I was starting on was we were at home. My first 3 days were at home. So I had gotten into because Chris is on the same schedule. So I moved in the beginning of March. I didn't start work until the end of April. So I got into the groove of Chris's schedule because we were training together. So I would train in the morning with Chris, prep my food, everything else. I hung out with him because I didn't have much to do because I just moved here. So I'd hang out with him every day when he was working from home. So I got into that groove and it just works better for me, I think, honestly, because I'm a big morning person when it came to working out. So I do my fast cardio in the morning. I have my treadmill at my house now, so I don't even have to leave. Prep my food, hang out with my dog for a little bit, and then I go to the gym.
Very cool.
And it
Well,
works out pretty well.
like PJ almost, you could start doing live cardios.
I could, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely something to look into.
So what's it like working with Chris though? Because River Jordan was saying like he's pretty strict when it comes to the diet. Like what's it like with you?
It's good. It's good. It's not bad at
It's
all.
good. Yeah, no
Yeah,
comment.
no, it got rough towards the end. It definitely got rough, but it's a thing. People want to compete, but they don't want to put the work in. They don't want to do the diet. They don't want to do the cardio. Like I went through a whole 7 to 8 week prep with an injured knee, which is the reason why I competed in men's physique. Now, since I stopped competing this year, I'm actually taking 2 years off, and I'm going to try to go into the open.
Definitely. Art, thank you very much for coming by. I love that guy. He cut his hair. Can you believe that? I have no hair. He had like which is the guy with the long hair? Is it Goliath or Samson or one of those guys? He cut all his hair off. But it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I think though, like you said, I've never competed. I got this thing with PJ where I'm really trying to lose weight by the end of the year. But I would love to do a men's physique show. That'd be the coolest thing. But I personally think, Derek, the men's physique is the hardest division, and the reason why I think that is because you have hardly no stage time. You have the least amount of poses, and you're like unless you're perfect, it's like down to the millisecond. Then that's why I think it's the hardest division.
Definitely matters to show. I think if everyone shows up in shape, yes, it can be one of the hardest. But if you got a bunch of people, some of these small town shows that don't show up a lot, and you just show up in shape a little bit, and some poses. Don't get me wrong, the poses, there are only 3 poses, but some people, they think they're easy. Some people can't do them. They can't get them right. But it's definitely, people think that it's not as hard as it is because it's 3 poses and you wear board shorts. But you look at the top pros, and the top pros are the size of amateur classic physique competitors.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, Alexis from Made to Macros in the house. Made to Macros, awesome. But the thing is, and Made to Macro, and thank you. I don't know if it was you or it was Chris, but one of you two gave me.
It was me.
It was you. 2 Made to Macro cookies, and when Alexis saw that I had them, she's like, "How did you get those?"
It was protein bars that she had with isolation.
So good. Yeah, so good, so good. But and I forgot what I was going to say because I was talking about the cookies. But I forgot what I was going to say. But those cookies are so good, man. They were amazing.
They are.
And you know how I know they were good? Because I was actually eating the crumbs. Like, you lick your finger and you like try to get all the crumbs out of the little thing. Yeah, it was really, 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 really.
So I get 2 treats every week in my meals from her because I buy bulk protein. So I make sure she's nice enough to throw 2 in there for me every single time.
Very cool. Now, who is Dan that I just tagged there? Because I tagged him he's all over your Instagram. Who is that?
Dan Malega?
Yeah.
That's my brother.
Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's my brother. He lives in Tennessee. He's actually in the army.
Very cool. Thank you for your service, keeping us safe. Freedom's not free. I mean that. It really isn't. There's a lot of countries that would love to like just do all sorts of horrible things to us. So
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So that's what I do. Like
He
when I
uh he was at the Olympia. I think you actually met him.
oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, when I interview folks, I like to sort of, I think they call it stalking, but I look at your profile, I see who likes what, and I like to tag people just so they know about this because these interviews I think are so cool. I think they are. And but what I was going to say about men's physique though is, yeah, people see three poses, but there's so much more that goes into it. There's the transitions. There's also like when the judges say relax. I don't think they really mean relax, and some people do, and I think it kind of
It
causes
throws him
stuff a
off.
little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. And then the board shorts too, like not, there's not like, you can't just pick any set of board shorts and get on there. Like,
No.
you know, you know, and then some competitors that are really, really geeks about it, but I say that in the highest form of flattery, they study the show, they study the lights and what their tan's going to look like under the lights. I mean, it's a whole thing. And even backstage, like one thing though about men's physique though, is I think it's the most competitive in the sense that, like, how like backstage sometimes, I mean, it's all friends and camaraderie, but it's war on stage, man. It's just total war on stage. So I don't know what's your experience been like with that.
My experience was good. It was like you said, backstage everyone was friendly, but when you're on stage, you go to battle. It's
Right.
like no matter what it is, you're going for first place. Like I came up short. My conditioning could have been better, 100%. But I did a short prep because of the pandemic. I thought, oh, that's all I needed. Definitely needed more. So, but now that I have the time, I have a little bit of the experience. Is why I'm taking the time off to try to jump 2 classes in 2 years. So let's see how that goes.
Very cool. We got Todrick in the house from Georgia. There's a lot of snowflakes in Georgia, and that's actually an inside joke because I guess he nowadays you got to be so careful what you say. Some people get offended. It's almost like you don't want to like say
You
anything.
you can get canceled.
You can get canceled. Exactly. Yeah. Just like that, like nothing. But where I got that, where I got the thing about it's war on stage was Rob Simpson. And I like to pull from different interviews, but he's like, and he's men's physique, he's a pro. And he says, backstage, everybody's like, friendly and hanging out, laughing. But once you're on stage, it's like, I mean, and it can, like at some shows, the Pittsburgh shows, I'm sorry, the last thing I'll say, the
Yeah,
Pittsburgh shows, you have two wings of people. So you've got like 10 and 10 behind them, 10 and 10 behind. So it's like, when you're on stage, you got to rock and roll because if not, you just like get lost amongst all the others.
it's friendly. From my experience, it's friendly in the beginning before you step on stage, but a lot of people they become very unfriendly once you're on stage.
Right.
Yeah, I had some kids say something very smart to me when we got off stage because I was on the outside of second call out, and then I started making my way in. I ended up at center, and he didn't like it because he was in center, and they put me there, and he opened his mouth to me, and during posing, he was like you said, it's war. People are elbowing you and shit, trying to
Right.
get in front of you, pose better. So
And and I'll never understand that, but maybe it's because I don't compete, but some people there's things that people do on stage that doesn't really make a lot of sense, like the elbowing, like that kind of cattiness, and then some guys like when they pose are shaking because I guess they think they'll get bigger or I don't know what. There's no point to doing that, but at the same time, it's like the judges they see that, you
it's
know.
some people it's nerves for the shaking. I can admit, this was the first time I stepped on stage. My prejudging, I had a little bit of a shake. I'll admit it. First time I ever jumped on stage. So when the finals came, I was a completely different person. I had that behind me. Never just stepped on stage. I had 2 preps before this. One I ended because of a bad experience with a coach in Jersey, and the one was due to an injury. But this time was like it can be nerves. It also can be cramping as well.
Definitely. And guys,
So
like, pay attention to Derek, what he just did there. That's very, very pro. Like you said, you had a bad experience with the coach. You didn't say the coach's name.
no,
He gave
no,
nothing to describe the coach. That's totally pro. It could have been the worst experience ever, but that's a pro move right there, which is very cool. But also I think that one thing that you said too, that there's a lot of truth in that. And covering all the shows that I've covered, I've seen it myself. I've heard judges tell me you can actually, even in the prejudging, let's say your second callouts, you can pose your way into the first call. In other words, you can totally change your hand by how you pose on stage. Some people, when they get a second or a third call out, they just resign themselves. And if you're still on stage, you still have a fighting chance to improve your placings. So that's very important, I think.
Yeah, I think if I would have evaluated it a little bit more, if I would have dried out a little bit, I think I would have jumped into at least fifth because I placed sixth and center second call up. I think if I would have dried out a little bit more after prejudging and then came for finals, I honestly think I would have been able to jump into fifth. But you got
Definitely.
to be able to evaluate that. Just because like you could be in second call out, let's just say center, because it's more realistic saying if you're in sixth place, you can still jump into first call out. But it's not unrealistic. I've seen it.
Definitely. I want to welcome Kim Fitass Haynes and GK Fit. That's a great point, too. The posing music is real important. But the other thing, too, the big mistake that I've noticed also, the last thing I'll say on competing is that, sometimes the night show isn't taken very seriously. And I think that's a big mistake, especially if you're a class winner, because you're still up for the overall. So,
Yes.
I mean,
A lot of people like to go binge after, and like I've seen it, especially because I worked a lot of shows last year. I worked Universe, Nationals, the Olympia, and a couple of small shows in Florida, and I've seen people going to second call outs and then they come out and they just pose and then you walk off and then they bring everyone else for all the placing and everything else. And I've seen them go up there and just like look like they couldn't care less. Like that's just something a judge keeps in the back of their head when you're going to step on stage next. You still have to go up there and act professional. So even if you didn't have your best placement, you placed maybe seventh or eighth, you still have to go up there, pose like a professional, like you were doing in prejudging, step off stage, and then just reevaluate the next show. A lot of people, I saw it a lot this year, where people, you could tell they were pissed off. You could tell they were mad. They didn't agree with their placing. But like, that's going to be in the judge's head now. They're going to know that you came in finals with a pissy attitude. You didn't take it seriously. So
right.
just for something for people to think of when they step on stage next, like they need to take it seriously. You may have not placed where you wanted to, but you still need to go on a stage on finals like a professional and pose correctly.
Definitely. Now talk to us about, it is glamorous, but it's also the least glamorous. It's like the real grunt work, the part where you really pay your dues. Talk to us about working shows, working at a booth. What is that like? I mean, because it's pretty taxing. I don't know.
I think it was taxing
you're
during
getting the same question sometimes, like 20 different times, asked in 20 different ways. You've got people that want free stuff. You've got people that, just like what's it like working at a booth?
So it was taxing this year for me because my first two shows I worked, I wasn't on prep. The rest of them I were. So by the end of it, I would say Nationals was my last show on prep, but Universe was a couple of weeks before that was the worst show for me. I was dying. I was at the worst of my prep. I was at the lowest of my food. I was exhausted. And just the people kept asking me the same questions. And it's funny because Alexis was working the show with me. She looked at me. She's like, you're done, aren't you? I was like, yeah, like I need to take a break.
Yeah,
it gets taxing, especially when you're working preps, because you got to think like everyone that's been here before me has worked shows on prep. So they all know how it is. Like when I worked at the Olympia was great. And you get asked a lot of questions and people buy a lot of product there. Because it's one of the bigger shows, so we bring a lot of product. Like these smaller shows, we bring samples and smaller stuff because there's not as much of a showing. But like the Olympia, the Arnold, Nationals, Universe, like we bring products because people like to grab product there. So they like to hear what you have to say, what you recommend. So Universe was bad for me, but the Olympia was great. I had a lot more energy being off prep. I was about like a week and a half after I prepped, and it was good. Like I do get asked the same question over and over and over again. A lot of people do want free stuff, but like that's what we're here for. We're trying to get our name out there. So you got to be there. You got to get into the field. You got to do the hard work. You got to answer all the same questions over and over again.
That's again answered like a pro, 100%. And yeah, I mean, and I've noticed that. I think the probably the toughest trial by fire when it comes to booth work, I would say, and I haven't worked for Blackstone in a booth. I've worked with another company at a booth, but would be the Arnold Classic. I think the Arnold Classic is probably the monster of expos. And
I haven't experienced it. I've been to an Arnold Classic, the last one before the world shut down. I went to the Arnold Classic. I actually ended up visiting the Blackstone booth. I was actually in a prep then, and it was nuts. So many people. And then now thinking like I got into the job and thinking we were going to do the Arnold next year, I was like, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
Right. No, for sure. Well, I've only seen two people kill it behind the booth. With you, I was talking, and I could see you like from a distance, but it would be Sammy and Chris Luke. And the thing is like I've noticed I saw Sammy do it in Miami. I saw Chris Luke, I think, do it at the Olympia actually. And the more product knowledge you have, and the more you can answer a question, the more people tend to buy. Like it's kind of like a subconscious thing, but they want to buy from someone. In other words, they want to buy from someone that understands. So going back to your point about the call center and talking to people that are educated on the product line, but they also, in getting their questions answered, they realize how much the Blackstone Labs can do. The Blackstone Labs line can do for them, including the non-hormonal products. I'm not even talking about the DHEA pro hormones. I mean, like the purely natural stuff. There's so much you can do, and there's something for everyone that they just want to buy. Plus, I think at a lot of the shows, there's like little specials that are to be had as well. So,
no, it's a lot of people like to hear like you could take the hormone products. Obviously, you go on a site that says hormone products, muscle building. People don't like to hear that. Hey, this can help you build muscle with hormones. This can help you build muscle hormone free. They want to hear like the compounds, even though they don't know what it is. Like we have to know that. We have to know what the compounds are, how they affect you, how they're going to benefit you. They like to hear all of it. Right. So being driven to actually read, I go on the internet all the time, just reading different compounds that are coming into the industry and everything else. Like you got to know the knowledge, you got to know what it does, how it works for the body, how it can benefit someone, how it can actually not benefit them. Like you need to know all these different things.
Mm-hmm. And I think also with Blackstone, what a lot of people really like, especially ladies, is like harmonized, like a product made specifically for women.
Number one seller with women.
Which is cool because, a lot of companies, they have products that women can take, but they don't have a product that's like specifically made for women. And I think that is also very powerful. So what are your plans goals wise? Like if I was to say, I mean, fingers crossed the world goes back to normal, but what are your plans, like say for 2021 and maybe your 5-year plan?
This year I'm buying a house. So that's on the market in the next couple of months. So that's the next goal. In the next 5 years, so I'm looking at a 2-year span, hopefully jumping up to the open class. I'm trying to rebuild my legs after some previous injuries. So that's my biggest goal out of them all. Obviously, climb up as much as I possibly can in the company. And looking to become one of the top salesmen. But Mr. Kaplan doesn't like to let anyone buy him. He is the hardest worker in this office. I will give him that.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and Tajik, I love Tajik. Tajik has like a mini arsenal of Blackstone products at his house.
I saw that on his page.
It's like closet after closet and clothes.
Yeah.
And
Jared was showing me on the Legion page because he posted. So when he reposted, he's like, "This guy has everything, all the old shirts, everything." I was like, "It's when you know it's real loyalty."
Yeah, and I believe his daughter is applying to join the Legion also. So there's going to be even more Blackstone Labs stuff in that house. And he mentioned Euphoria, which is I don't like to mention it too much because it's like it'll knock you off your ass. But I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah. And I only take 3. Like I know people that take 6. I only take 3, but it's it's a very nice legal high. So
it was that's actually one of the first couple of products I took. So.
Yeah. No, I took it.
Chris got to throw it in my first order that I ordered from him back a couple of years ago. I guess 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago when I first started ordering. Chris, he threw that in there. I think my first stack with Blackstone Labs was Chosen One, Methquad, and Super Strong, and it was actually for my prep. And that's when it made me first notice that this is a company I can follow because my transformation I made by myself before I even grabbed my coach before that bad prep was amazing. It's it's actually my signature for we have our signatures for our emails. That was that was my last picture for my last prep, but it's amazing. It blows my mind.
I honestly think that, if you take the supplements, they work for you. That's the best testimonial there is. You know what I mean? That's
yeah, it's I have everyone come in there stop selling me bullshit in a bottle. I'm not. And I can honestly personally tell you that I've taken the products and seen remarkable results. I won't stand behind a product I don't believe in. And I have personally seen and prepped with our products. And people are like, "Oh, I don't see results," and then they don't run the products right. They don't put the work in. People just like to buy a bottle and hope it's magic.
Right. Yeah, no, and it's the thing too. It's like, something that PJ often says, and you guys say, like, and we got Corey in the house, like BSL legend. You got to take these. You have to take them with consistency. If it says take them before a meal, if you take them after a meal, take them at like the same time every day, that kind of thing. People don't like doing that, and they expect that. They expect almost like success in a bottle kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that just doesn't exist.
Yeah, people don't like to do the diet or the right protocol of the supplements and everything. Like the amount of vitamins I take in the morning is outrageous. And then I got my supplements throughout the day. I got to take, like, we have a scale on a table upstairs and plates, and we all measure our food out. We all bring in containers and we measure our food out every couple of hours. And it's
That's
not just one or two of us; it's all of us here. So like, it's great to have a job that I can do that, because being an iron worker, I still started bodybuilding at first back then, and I would have to have a portable little hot plate that I used to plug in on the job sites. I used to prep all my food, and I was lucky if I got like maybe 2 or 3 meals in, and I had to fit all the rest of my food in after I got out of work.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, now you work somewhere where it's not only allowed but encouraged. You have
Yes.
a lot of moral support, and even with your goal of raising as high as you can in the company, like this company wants you to go as high as you can, which is great, because a lot of companies kind of like try to, like, hold you down.
Yes.
Here it's like, like I said, PJ's so happy with you, and like I'm sure Billy is, and everybody, like, if you do better and they do better, everybody does better. So it's just like, it's a win-win. It doesn't make sense to
Yeah,
hold
it's
anybody
like
down.
you got companies that like everyone puts people down or they try to go behind people's back. Like here, everyone's like uplifting each other. They're trying to like
Definitely.
make everyone better. They're trying to get people's sales up. They're trying to help them. Like we have 2 new people. We have new call center rep Ricky, and then before, actually on Black Friday, we had a new call center rep, Frank come in. So all of us here that have been here for a little bit, I've been here now for almost a year. We try to help them as much as we can. But you don't find that at a company.
No, I mean that, and you said they started before Black Friday, you said?
Frank started like a couple days before Black Friday, so he got thrown right in the mix.
Yeah,
And
that
then
would say.
Ricky started about, I gotta say, about a month ago. But yeah, Frank got thrown in with the Lions.
Yeah,
So
that's got to be crazy.
he had like a weekend and then got a 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
And I got to experience my first Black Friday 24-hour shift on prep. 1 week out.
Wow.
It was it was definitely hard.
And this, and with COVID, this Black Friday, I mean, there's no, I mean, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever Saturday's called, I don't know what they
Everything
call
was on
that.
the internet.
Yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, all the stores are closed and everybody's going to use. So I mean, that's killer. So let me ask you, what would your top three, let's say your top three favorite products, like right now, be?
My top 3 favorite products are Hype. I use the BCAA, and then I love Epi Smash.
Very
Epi
cool.
Smash is in my regimen. So those are
And
my
what does
top
Epic
3
Smash
products.
do for you?
Epi Smash helps me stay lean, which helps me with lean muscle, helps me with strength, and it actually really, and a lot of people don't believe me when I say this, it actually helps my energy a lot, like overall energy, because I wake up at, I gotta say 7, wake up, do cardio, I go walk my dog for like a mile, I come back, I prep my breakfast, I eat, take my dog out again, I go to the gym, come home, prep my food again, go to work. I work till 10 o'clock, I come home, eat another meal, hang out with my dog for a little bit, I'm in bed by like 1 o'clock in the morning. So only working on 6 hours of sleep by my choice of how I live my life, but like my energy's through the roof now.
That's
So
amazing. That's amazing. All right. Well, listen, I'm sure that this was not 15 or 20 minutes, but I do really appreciate you taking the time, and and I appreciate Jared helping me put this together. Jared does so much, man. Like, he
yes, it
knows like
does.
everybody in the Legion, like by first name, which is crazy. It's like,
Which a lot of people wouldn't believe it. Like they see them repost it, and he pays attention a lot.
hmm,
Like people think he just reposts it because it's his job. He gets very involved with it, and he's the right person to be running it. I will say that.
yeah,
He's involved. He pays attention. He reaches out, makes sure all the problems are taken care of, whether it be like code being messed up or like them not getting their credit in time. Like Jared is on top of everything.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, yesterday we were supposed to talk like for 5 minutes. We talked for 45. So it was, and I think he had a fire alarm issue or something because he was outside in the parking lot. But it was pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
And that is one person that is one of the most knowledgeable people I know. He knows his stuff.
Definitely. And in this industry, again, I don't want to throw shade at other companies, but like in this industry, if you're going to sell supplements, you got to know everything there is to know about those supplements, and customer service has got to be at the absolute highest, and that's what you do. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it, Derek.
No, of course, anytime. Thank you for
Awesome,
having me.
brother. Definitely. So for Derek Milton, BSL exec on the rise, Christian Duke, Strengthaddicts.com. Thank you, brother.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
Bye.